More and more builders from different ecosystems are coming to Kaspa. In this episode, Ankit sits down with James and Mirza from KaspaFinance, who are bringing Uniswap V3 to Kaspa.
We have built on 30 different chains.
Ankit discusses what are the stark differences between version 2 and version 3 of Uniswap that is coming to Kaspa, along with an in-depth demo and ways to maximize your capital as a liquidity provider.
A new version isn't released if it's going to be inferior.
40x. It's 40x inefficient.
In this episode, all three agreed that Kaspa's ecosystem needs more competition.
How many DEXs are in the Ethereum? Is it only one? There are more than 100 DEXs.
You will also learn about KaspaFinance's latest investment from very well-known names.
There are two entities that we can mention now off our cap table. There are others. And Kaspa will hopefully be seen by the bigger community and be seen as maybe a little bit of a threat to other chains.
Welcome to XXIM Podcast, your home of decentralization. Today, I'm here with KaspaFinance team. I've got James and I've got Mirza. Welcome both.
Hey, Ankit, thanks. Glad to be here.
Awesome, guys. We've connected once before, right? We had a space that XXIM hosted, I think, a couple of weeks ago, and it was an amazing space. I think we had a lot of feedback. So I wanted to have you here to really go through, what you guys are building. So let me start by asking the first question: why KaspaFinance? Right? You guys have built other applications. Why did you decide to KaspaFinance?
It's a good question. And I guess, so how did we decide to, or how it sort of eventuated, I guess? I guess, we've built a lot of applications in the past, dApps, protocols, across from everything from, DEXs, DeFi, applications, launchpads, games, cross-chain infrastructure, and you name it. Yeah, the list goes on and on. Even blockchains were stood up. So I guess I was fortunate enough to actually meet some of the Kaspa Foundation team around probably, I think it was around Consensus in Hong Kong this year, earlier this year. And that's, I got an introduction as well to one of the stakeholders, and then met again with the team at large, and I sort of showcased some of our portfolio and some of our work. And I guess, we hit it off. I guess the first sort of port of call for us actually was we actually developed the Kaspa Visualizer at kaspavisualizer.com. So that was sort of like, our foot in the door. But yeah, I guess, we had meetings with Michael Sutton and the team as well to help sort of work out what the vision was. I guess that's still only in beta. I guess we're still working on that because, it's, I guess they've got something in mind that they really want. And we're going to just keep continuously making it better. And obviously there's also upgrades to that 10 BPS, 32 BPS, obviously on the horizon. So we need to make it upgradable as well. So that's how we sort of got into it.
I think it's good to set the context here, right, for everyone, because I think, you guys have built a lot of applications. I want to get into those applications you built across other blockchains. I think you bring a lot of context and history from other places, which you're obviously going to be applying to KaspaFinance. So I just wanted to set the scene, I guess, before we move forward.
Sure.
So you guys met the KEF team. You've spoken to them. KEF, right? Kaspa Foundation, right?
Yeah, Kaspa Foundation, yeah.
KEF team. And then you were like, okay, there is an opportunity here. We can start building on Kaspa here. Is that how it came about?
I mean, if you must know. So, I mean, obviously, if all of you must know. No, so, look, we also met Chris, who was standing up Kasplex, so co-founder of Kasplex as well. And, we speak, we chat to him every second or third day, potentially just seeing how everything's going. Any updates and all that kind of stuff. And then we sort of just I guess got in at the ground level before Kasplex was sort of being built, and they talked about launching smart contracts on Kaspa. I guess I was an early investor in Kaspa.
Right.
And and I was always sort of thinking, why did I invest in it? After, when I was going to meet the team, I was thinking, what do I say? Why did I originally? I can't even remember, because blockchain moves fast, right?
James, when was that?
Tokens and
When
coins.
did when did you get
I mu
Kaspa?
It must have been in 21, I guess. It was just after it was launched, obviously. I bought it, I think, on KuCoin. I believe it was KuCoin. It may not have been. I
Right.
don't know. I mean, I struggle to find some of my wallets, my private keys, and all that kind of stuff sometimes, because
We all
I've got stuff. Yeah, I
yeah,
mean, I guess if you've been in the industry or been into crypto,
yeah.
I guess I've been in since 2015. I've just got, sometimes I freak out that I've lost my private keys to a particular wallet. I've obviously got my portfolio on, I think it's on CoinMarketCap now. Used to be on Blockfolio back in the day. That's where I built up my thumb muscles.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess I
Right.
was trying to think, why did I invest in it? And then I sort of took a deep dive into Casper again. And then, that's why. And obviously, I am a BTC maxi a little bit, and an ETH maxi as well. So I guess a bit of both. But I believe that's probably what resonated with me about Casper.
Yeah.
And definitely, obviously that's all come to light since we started building on Casper, and sort of getting in touch with the community, but also trying to understand the fundamentals of the blockchain that we're working on as well.
Yeah. So Mirza, let me ask you the same question. What's your Kaspa story?
Sure. So mine, like you have already introduced me. So I have started my career in blockchain back in 2019 or 2020, and at that time I was originally a trainer that was truly inspired by the how blockchain works, and I run a YouTube channel there, and still I have some
That's how I
views.
found him. Yeah, sorry.
Oh, really? Oh, that's a
Yeah, yeah.
interesting story.
And I got the international certifications in blockchain, certified solidity developer back in 2020 and then my path goes on in more of development because I was fascinated by the technology itself because uh, Facebook is great, but internet is the main thing, right? So still the Bitcoin is great, but the blockchain is the entirely backbone of the whole technology era and the crypto era or the DeFi or the supply chain, whatever we name it. So I got very interested by that and I started learning, training, and developing. And then right now, I run like 50 plus devs, and our entire team is more than 70, 80 people that we have across the region. And we run it under Web3 gigs. I am really intrigued into all the L2 infrastructure and the participation, the features that it offers to the community, the instant confirmation. If you're doing a transaction in blockchain or in Bitcoin blockchain, you'll feel like you are living a life of a dinosaur. I don't know, but if you're doing a transaction in like L2s and other chains, you'll feel the difference. That yeah, it's very instant. So
Yeah.
that's the only thing that makes me more interested into L2s, and I really like the features and working with the core team. So we have in the past built a lot of protocols, work with the block play, built many big protocols that are over millions of dollars valuation right now. Work with the Fight Club network, block play, and the different dexes, and develop the very customized protocol in the blockchain era for the lending, borrowing, farms, even some attacks as well on the other protocols. But all of these comes under my area of expertise that I have been
Awesome.
working on and I'll be working on.
No, that's a beautiful story. I think that's a good segue to your like. I think last time I used the word agency, which I think James didn't like at that time.
I don't
James,
know if I didn't like it. I don't like it. I don't know if I like it. I don't know if I don't like it. No, go on. Sorry,
so,
Andrew.
so,
Yeah.
so yeah, I think last time when we connected on X, I mentioned that you guys have a bigger, Mirza, you mentioned you have a team of 50 plus developers that you guys run. You build a few different products. And some of the ones you mentioned, right, which I picked up from the website, right, are block play, fightclub.network, Blockworker, and other apps that you guys have built, right? So you built some sizable apps. Perhaps the question I wanted to ask you, what are the lessons across those apps you built? Are there anything specifically that you learned across different networks building these apps that you're sort of porting over to Kaspa, building KaspaFinance?
Yeah, and it's not that I'm not in love with the agency name. I think agency kind of makes me feel like we're a blockchain sweatshop, but we're not. Anyway, let's move on. I was going to say, so I guess okay.
What is the word you want me to use? Okay, tell me that.
No. I actually, since our last conversation, agency is a word that I've been using. So thank you.
No,
yeah, it sums it up in one word. Anyway, I was going to say, so yeah, look, talking about BlockPlay, Fight Club Network, Blockworker, these are actually new applications that we've actually built. So these are fresh to market, and they're actually still being built, some of them, or they're actually currently launching. So I guess we have multiple teams at Web3 Geeks, the agency, and BlockPlay, for instance, I work closely on that as well. We just launched it on one of the largest gaming networks in the world, biggest gaming marketplaces in the world, on Overwolf, which gets it in front of 47 million active monthly gamers, which is bloody exciting.
Awesome.
We're super excited about it. So that we will go on to sort of partner with them as well. It's running on, that's basically running a rewards layer on top of AAA games. So so quite a great app, and that will be also coming to crypto shortly after. But in the first iteration, it is very Web2, very gamer centric, and obviously a lot of the big networks like Steam and even Overwolf, they don't really love or are fond of crypto just yet. But the backbone is Web3, and a lot of the future iterations will be built on Web3 as well. And I guess, just for full context, Fight Club Network is under heavy development. So it is a AAA game. It will also have a Web3, a Web XR version as well. So it'll be released on PC. But that is generally a AAA game. And then it's got we will have fighter NFTs as well, and that's got some of the biggest fighters in the world actually, which we're super excited about working with. So UFC fighters, MMA fighters from all around the world, and really famous ones. Blockworker is on Binance Smart Chain actually, and that is actually a Web3 native fiber. And that's just been taken to market as well at the moment. I notice in the Kaspa ecosystem, there is a fiber as well, which is really cool. So very similar. We also built the actual payment gateway for that as well. So that can basically allow all the unbanked people in the world, which, there's a couple of billion of them potentially, to actually take part in that gig economy, which they're cut out of because if you don't have a bank account, you can't have PayPal. So things like that. What have we learned? Obviously, we've actually built on a lot of the parachains, and I guess Mirza, you might want to take over some of this. But our background is we did build out a lot on obviously Ethereum in our first sort of instances because that was where smart contracts lay and sort of were born. We did a lot of work on the Polkadot parachains. Maybe you want to talk about that part of it, Mirza?
Anything, Mirza, that stood out to you?
Yeah, definitely. So I think so. It goes past like a long way when we actually started in crypto. So as you mentioned, that I still remember that first contract that we deployed on the Ethereum would cost it costed us like $2,000 or something, and even we were waiting for a specific time for the gas fees to get lower. There was the only one option available at that time. So back in 2020 or 2021, there was not many chains available, and you were only limited to the Ethereum. But thanks to the BSC and the Polygon, that the people start to know more about the different chains and they can jump to it. And but there's another interesting part that happened during that tenure, that the bridges came in, and these were the most interesting part where people lose millions of US dollars uh, then that really hurt the whole protocol entirely.
Yeah.
So
Mm.
we have seen that part because of some hack or some loop in the bridge contracts
Yeah.
that cost millions, and even some people lose their life just because of their
Yeah.
nonsense. And, we
Yeah.
have seen that. Then we, as James mentioned, then we kickstart in the Polkadot ecosystem. So the Kaspa ecosystem is built on the DAG, right? But the
Yeah.
Kasplex is the L2 chain.
Yeah.
So the core concept of the Polkadot was they have a main chain, a relay chain that is called the relay chain, and then you have the para chains on top of it.
Yeah.
And we work with the 2 to 3 different blockchains in the para chain, and you have to book a slot and you have to validate it in order to be the main chain. So we work with the Reef chain, and then we work with the Aster and Plasm. These were the
Plasm, yeah.
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 Fast forward to today, we have built approximately on 30 different chains in the last
Yeah.
5 years.
I think that was beautifully said, and it's good to again, understand what you guys have built and what you guys have done in the past. So let's move on to the KaspaFinance itself, guys. So let me put it this way, right? You guys are not the first DEX coming to Kaspa, right? But you are bringing V3 version of Uniswap to Kaspa, which has a lot of advantages. We want to get into it.
What do you think? How many DEXs are in the Ethereum? Is it only
Oh,
one?
yeah, let me guess. Actually, I don't know the number, but I'm gonna just guess the number. Maybe like I don't know, 100.
Okay,
Yeah,
a good guess.
yeah,
So, do you think like there are more than 100 DEXs?
yeah.
Do you only think that the only major DEX on the Ethereum is Uniswap only? The entirely backbone of the DEXs is the only major one? No.
No, yeah,
Sushi is the another one that has
Yeah.
built by like even by and on top of Uniswap, right?
yeah,
So our community, I really want to address this. Like I want to address to our Caspa community that being the number one and being the best is two different things.
yeah,
And when you are building an ecosystem, I believe the Kasplex ecosystem has to go for improvements, betterments, and the best versions of it,
yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah,
So a lot of people are right now more inclined towards the V2 because oh man, it's a good thing. You give me 15 to 45 minutes and I'll set up a dex on V2 on any chain because it's just like
yeah.
this. The code base is 4 years or 5 years old actually for the
2020,
V.
right? P2 was
Yeah,
out,
Yeah.
right? So years old.
yeah.
Yeah. So 5 years. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
The people are, I think so, scared to try the V3, and I don't know, they feel like it's a different ecosystem, but it's
Mm.
for the better the community.
It's exciting to have different builders building using different technology and bringing some proven technology to Kaspa, right? Like we're not talking about something brand new here that needs to be trusted, right? Version 2,
Yeah,
version 3, they have their pros and cons, and we're going to get into it. But I think just
Mm.
for people to understand that, the choice will be theirs, but they need to understand what the differences are. I wanted to get into the differences for both users that are just swapping it and for also liquidity providers, right? And in some cases, user and liquidity provider will be the same, perhaps most cases. So I thought it'd be good to summarize it, starting with for users first.
the first perspective change for our users should be one that V3 allows you to have a universal routing.
Right.
So what is universal routing? The major difference is that it gives you a leverage that you don't have to see how you trade. So let's say if you are getting a quote of 1:10, but right, if you're using V2, you'll get a quote of 1:10. But if you will be using V3, there might be a possibility you'll get a quote of 1:15 or maybe 1:12, because this will automatically reroute your trade from one pair to another, or from one pair fee tier to another fee tier. Like,
Mirza, can I ask a question? What do you mean
sure,
by ratio? What
like,
what does it mean actually for a user?
so
What does it mean? Yeah,
let's say if I'm buying a USD with the euro, I
yeah.
have a one ratio, like
Oh, I
one
see. Right.
US 1 euro is equal to 1.2 or 1.1 euro USD.
I
So
see.
that's the difference of buying and selling rate between the currencies and the
Right, right.
forex exchange. If you're familiar with that concept. So let's say if I want to buy gas with
Yeah,
the USDT, I want to buy 100 US dollar worth of gas.
yeah,
If I'm going to the V3, there
yeah.
might be a possibility that with the lower fee tier and with the higher fee tier, the price of each liquidity provider is different.
I see. I
What
see.
V3 will do, you are just telling that universal router that I want to buy for 100 US dollar worth of gas. It
Hmm.
will automatically fetch the best price, so where you'll get the maximum cash output. So
Hmm.
that's the most important benefit of the V3 that allows you a universal routing. That's the
Right.
first.
So the better execution for the user, more codes and better price for the user, essentially.
Yeah.
Cheaper and faster as well. I guess a new version isn't released if it's going to be inferior. But in saying that, what are there's pros and cons, right, to V2 and
Yeah,
V3. Yeah,
definitely.
to V3. Yeah, but I mean, look, in essence, LP, where you've got concentrated sort of liquidity ranges, where you can actually maximize your earnings. Yeah, for sure. It may potentially take a little bit more money management skills, but that's why we're also introducing our AI solution out, because that will actually help you choose the optimal range for
Yeah.
that market.
So,
But I mean, from the get go, that's where that educational piece comes
so
in as well.
James,
Yeah, sorry.
I would love you to explain this concentrated liquidity part, because I think that's the biggest reason and the difference between V2 and V3, right? So how do we define concentrated liquidity for a user, for LP really? But I think obviously that leads to then the user, right? The example that Mirza was just giving us.
So the core difference between V2, V3, and V4, there's an fundamental, structural, and technical differences that our community needs to understand. V2 basic gives you an liquidity entire range. So let's say if Ethereum
Yeah,
price is right now, like a couple of months ago, it was 4,000 US dollars, right? I'm the one who provided the LP in the V2 at the
yeah,
price of 4,000 US dollar, and I want my liquidity to be secured. There is no
yeah,
way to do that.
yeah,
If I
yeah.
provided 100k of worth of USDT and 100k worth of the Ethereum,
Hmm.
man, I'll be in so much lose right now, because of
Yeah.
the price change, right? It's not into, like, it's not a front running bot, it's not an MEV, it's nothing. It's
Mhm.
just price change that has impacted my portfolio tons.
Yeah.
And if I talk about so that's the con of the V2.
What you're saying is when you're on V2, you're providing liquidity from $0 all the way to 4,000 in that example, right? So that's
Yeah.
entirely.
The
Even
whole liquidity curve. Yeah, the whole curve.
Yeah, yeah. So I just want
even
to
not
clarify.
4,000 US dollar, even above 4,000 US dollar as well.
Whatever the range
So
is, right? You said the
yeah,
range. Yeah,
yeah. So let's say if I have provided 100 US dollar, like
yeah.
100k US dollar and 50 Ethereum, right?
58.
So
Yeah,
yeah, so 50 ETH and 100k US dollar. If any of those assets got null or empty in the pair, my liquidity will be active for all the time,
yeah, yeah.
regardless of the price change. That doesn't make any sense.
No.
That is, you know, if
So,
there's an exotic pair, so
yeah,
let's say a person is only trading in USD and wants to buy it, and the ETH price will go up, go up, go up. But if a person is just selling it, the price will go down,
yeah,
right? So the V2 does not give me leverage of
mhm,
securing my LP position. A
yeah,
lot of our LPs, investors, and the community may want to go for the V2 just because of the ease of mind, because
yeah,
they don't like technicalities, they don't like to understand how they're gonna work. But
yeah,
I wonder how someone can actually invest. If you are a VC, if you are an angel investor, if you are an LP provider, how you can invest if a protocol is simply not careful for your investment?
yeah, yeah. So,
Doesn't
so
make
this is the
sense, man.
silver. So the part you're mentioning is that it's not efficient as V3. So it's a less efficiency you're getting for your capital that you deploy.
40x. It's 40x inefficient.
40x inefficient, right, on V2.
And it gives you that usability as well. So custom fee tiers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Look, I believe our obviously other people out there potentially have custom fee tiers as well, but they don't have that concentrated liquidity range that you'll be able to set.
If I'm the LP, I mean, I definitely want to maximize my returns, right? I don't want my returns to be sitting there inefficiently, right? It just makes no sense for me. So it's good to get an answer.
So there's another technical thing that our audience needs to understand. In V2, whenever you are going to provide a liquidity for the first time for one pair, you actually have to deploy a contract, which is called V2 pool contract on the Ethereum or in any chain.
Sure.
It will cost you money for the first LP provider, good amount of money. But if you go for the V3, so it will actually it will also needs to deploy a new contract, but it will give you an ability to have different fee tiers starting from 0.05, which is for the most stable pairs, and goes up to 1% for the exotic pairs. So that way LPs can earn better, users can get the better pricing, and the liquidity of the LPs are secure. They don't need to worry about.
Yeah, I love the exotic pairs term. I think it's probably the first time.
Volatile.
I was going to say, let's call it volatile. I like it. It's a good, fun way to call certain pairs exotic that are more volatile.
That's how you are giving power back to the community to allow them to have more leverage on their LPs, to have better pricing, to have faster execution, and to have the better pool pricing. So these are the fundamental concepts that are entirely important for our community to understand. So do you even believe me that I would say, oh, Bitcoin is better than Ethereum? And people would like, are you a dinosaur or what? Because the technology of the Bitcoin is old. It doesn't
hang on.
It's the first.
Yeah. Well, so do you like Ethereum more than Bitcoin?
Well,
Are we going to get into this argument again? No. I love the passion. I've never seen him so passionate about V3. It's good.
I generally want to provide value to the Kaspa ecosystem, but it really hurts me that how you can actually support a 5-year-old protocol, a protocol that has been even not like Uniswap is not even using that protocol anymore. Like they are just depreciating it. And
I was going to ask then, why didn't you bring V4 then? I mean, V3 is pretty.
Right? No. Yeah. So
very valid question.
Yeah.
We can build the V4.
V4 is on our roadmap. So it is in our future iteration and desired state, obviously. But yeah, I think where the educational pieces can come in, we will help. Take the Kaspa community that may not be used to DeFi through those steps, and I think that's on us. So the tutorials of how to maximize your LP earnings as well, and things to look out for as well. Obviously avoid the exotic pairs with the tight spread. But I mean, there's many other things that we've got to sort of focus on in regards to that educational piece. So I think and that you'll start seeing. I guess the community will start seeing items coming out. I think we're releasing our first liquidity educational video tonight, and then we'll have swap. We've also got a Castle wallet tutorial. We will do other wallet integrations as well, and just keep pushing out sort of like a learn.achieve set for everyone to sort of get around. And then obviously people that we sort of bring in from other communities outside Kaspa, hopefully, well, some of them will know how to use the DEX a little bit more potentially, and they're going to be, and obviously DeFi users that are, regular or casual traders would have used Uniswap or Sushi or PancakeSwap, et cetera, or QuickSwap or any of the big dexes out there. Yeah.
Yeah. I think Kaspa blockchain is a very new blockchain, so I think this is expected, that people are relatively new to DeFi ecosystem, right? As I said before, we haven't
They
had
haven't had smart contracts.
we haven't had smart contracts, right? Compared to Ethereum, I think I was just thinking while you guys were talking, Compound has been around since 2018, 2017, right? I think
It has, yeah, absolutely.
which is where I think these concepts of DeFi started. And we have 2021 of DeFi summer, right? That was 2020, 2021, right? When people made a lot of money, got with the airdrop and everything, right? With Uniswap. So I think it's very new to Kaspa, and I think that's why it's good to go through these sort of iterative processes that the Ethereum has gone through and what we can learn from them, right? As a whole, as a community. So thank you. I think Mirza, that was a very good sort of summary and passionate summary, I must say. So I wanted to move on to the demo part. I think it'll be good to actually go through the demo, and perhaps touch upon some of the points you just highlighted before.
So first of all, we are also going to introduce a walkthrough guide today or by early morning tomorrow as well. So which will guide our users step by step how to add liquidity, how to swap, how to use pool, faucet, airdrop, everything, so that our user is able to educate and get awareness of how to use the protocol. So first step is you have to select the pair token you want to add liquidity in. So once you select the USDC or CAS or any other pair you want to invest in or you want to provide the liquidity, you can choose between here, right?
Okay.
So this will go here, and you can add in between any token you want to, or even in your own token you have deployed or for the testing purpose. So then you have to click on the more. You will see the different fee tier available: 0.05, 0.3, 1%, and the other fee tier. So if I click on the 5%, I am right away popped into that's the current price of gas. So if I switch it, so I'm able to see that the current price of right now, the where is the active liquidity in for, that's what I mentioned in the like the thing that I was mentioning in the past was this one. So the current price is 0.07 USDC per gas. So if I have to buy one gas, I have to pay 0.079 USDC. So that's the fee tier. That's the most for the most stable pair. But if I see
Mirza, how, like when you say fee tier, this is the fee that the LPs will earn, right?
yeah, this
So
is
just
the
wanted to
fee
clarify
that
that
you
this
will
is
earn.
so LP can earn 5 basis point, 30 basis point, or 100 basis point, right? So 0.05,
Yeah,
30, or 1. Why would I ever choose to go for 5 basis point? Like, of course, I want to always earn 1%, right?
yeah. So let's say, uh, because when you are providing liquidity and you are saying that I might be like I might see the price of this pair will go up, or if there are so many LP providers that are providing liquidity in lesser fee tier. So let's say if there's a 5 million of worth of liquidity in 0.05 feet here,
Yeah.
and there's like only 1 million liquidity in 1%. So so my router will automatically route the liquidity from 0.05%, because that's where
Yeah.
the lowest fees is for our user,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So this is the point where actually people tends to have to agrees to have LP agrees to have lower fee tier but the higher volume.
I
The
see.
volume of each pair are very high, and the fee tier gets lower, but still you earn the very good reward.
I see. I
Even if
see.
I want to add the liquidity, I can into the different fee tier. So first step is selecting the pair.
Yeah.
The second step is selecting the fee tier where I want to add the liquidity. If there's no pool already available in that fee tier, it will ask you to select a price that you have to set for the next pool that you are going to initialize.
Cool.
First step, second step, and that's the second step, a third step. And when you finally agree to that, you will be initiating that pool. And you can also see this message here that actually says that you are the first to provide the liquidity and you'll be setting the price of the pool. And that's the fourth section. That's the fourth section, very important to it. So these are the four options down there, and then there is a custom option as well. So if I say that I want to provide liquidity with the value of 10, so right now my cash value would be 10 USDC. Just for the sake of understanding, I'm not going to provide that liquidity, not going to set the wrong price here. But let's say, I hope that price reaches there. But let's say I want to select the 10% difference,
I see.
meaning that whenever the liquidity goes out, goes below 8.9, like 9 USDC, my
Mm,
liquidity will get inactive. The swaps will not happen in my liquidity. It will happen in either in someone else liquidity, or it will not happen.
mm,
But it will not consume my liquidity. So my tokens are secured. So if it goes below this price, my liquidity will get inactive. If the current price goes above that price, my liquidity get inactive. So
mm.
that's the point where you have to consider the market pricing, where the market is moving, and how you are going to select that. But we also have the feature to allow a full range. It
Right.
means that you can see the efficiency comparison. Full range position may earn less fees than concentrated position, sorry. So meaning that my liquidity will now be on entire range, starting from the zero
Right.
goes to the infinite.
It became
Yeah.
V2 essentially.
Yes, that's how I'm able to set the fee tier of my choice, and my liquidity will stay active all the time. But if I want to have a dynamic liquidity or with the specific fee tier or ticks, you call ticks, especially in the V3. So that's how you actually have to manage it. So let's provide the liquidity in the same 0.05 percentage, and now you have the four options here as well: 25, 50, 75 max. This will this is referring to your wallet balance. So let's say if I want to provide a liquidity of 100 gas or maybe 1000 gas, let's say, then the final step is add liquidity: first, second, third to select the price, fourth, and the fifth step. Now you are good, you are fully aware that how your liquidity you are going to manage that. And when you click on add, just add the liquidity, guys. Confirm. I just confirmed the transaction from a MetaMask, and you can see that it's in pending state right now, and it's got confirmed. So now my
Super.
liquidity is active. Yeah. If I go to the liquidity section here, you can see that all of my active positions here, and along with the fee tier that I have provided liquidity in. So you
Yeah.
can see that that's infinite liquidity of
Mm,
my USDT FCN pair,
I see.
and has with the fee tier of 0.3%. So
Right.
there are multiple pools, like even in the one. So if you see here, I have Cash USDC LP, Cash USDC LP, same fee tier, but the different text. You
Mm,
got it?
yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
there are two, three positions that I have owned in same pair,
Yeah.
same fee tier with a different text.
Yeah.
And these all three are active. So that way I can actually
I
position
see.
myself
Yeah.
how to earn better pieces.
Yeah. So these are the strategies that the LPs can set up themselves, and that's
Yes,
perhaps a way to think about how you manage your own capital and the resource
yeah,
that you have. It gives you, V3 perhaps what you're showing us is it's more powerful in that way. You can customize, you can move things around, and obviously you can provide at a specific price point that you want to provide liquidity at as well.
Yeah,
absolutely.
absolutely. And you can always obviously remove that. I mean, that's money management, right? Like, proper trading skills. So, I mean, that's something that a user will become accustomed to doing. And if it keeps moving up, you change the range, and you remove your liquidity. You can re-add it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's a swap section where that comes into place after adding the liquidity. So now you can actually you are the LP, and now you are the user here.
User.
So
Yeah.
if I want to swap one USDC and I want to buy some cash, now I can see that I can earn, like I can buy that much cash with worth of one USDC. So the one that you were mentioning, slippage, that's here.
Right. I
So
see.
this impact is 0.01% here,
Hmm.
and the trading fee is 0.005 USDC that I have to pay. And if you see the route here, it's directly USDC to cash. But if I am selecting some XYZ pair, let's say if I'm selecting BLK, if there's already like a like the pair available, if there's no pair available, KFC USDT to CAS. So that's how my trade is being routed while I'm just swapping in between these two pairs.
The route itself, I think, is very powerful because now you can see how, what is the best route for the user for the execution, right? The user can see how many steps is going to go through and sort of what
Yes,
path is choosing. um,
yes.
that's very cool. Good to see that you would have to go through one token to another and then pick some liquidity there
Another
and then
token
go
to
from
another.
token to, yeah, exactly.
If you want to share with your friends, you have the share button here that actually gives you a privilege to share on your X, Telegram, and your LinkedIn, and you can copy the link here, and you can use that link. And then there is a certain protocol, like
Slippage, yeah.
the settings that you can actually use for the slippage, timeline, and the expert mode. If you want to set to send and have the different recipient for the transaction, you can use that. That's for the custom routing and stuff like that.
what was the expert mode? I want to use expert mode.
Everyone wants to be the expert.
Yeah, exactly.
So whenever you're going to use expert mode, it asks for you the confirmation that are you sure that you want to use this,
Yeah,
and what would be the you'll be fully responsible for all the action that you'll be taking. So
I
the
see.
right now, if you see, there is options of right now multi hops. If you disable that, allow splitting routing, it means that your transaction will go to multiple routes. Allow multi hops is the one thing.
I see.
So multi-hops enable token swaps through multiple hops between several pools to achieve the best deal.
I see.
Turning this off will only allow direct swap, which may cause higher slippage or even fund loss, meaning that you are only directly dealing with the one pair while there is a possibility of the multiple pairs available. Even
Mm,
there are, if there's a two pairs available, like involved, or the five pairs involved, depends on the on the LP and their fee tier. So what's the how you're going to get the best price? That's a multi-hop. And
okay.
if you go for the split routing enables token swap to be broken into multiple routes to achieve the best deal. Meaning that, let's say, if I'm going for, like, I want to swap 1 million USDC or 100K worth of USDC, and there's only best deal available for the 0.05 fee tier with the best price only for the 20K worth of USDC, and the rest of my trade
Hmm.
will go for the 80K to the different pair or the standard process. So that's
Yeah.
is called allow split routing. So these are the two
Okay.
options that I like, that you get enabled in your expert mode. But I encourage users to set it to the standards so that they don't actually have to worry about that.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. No, thank you. I think it's good to understand that we have the power to control this. Those options as well, and of course you need to understand if you're new to DeFi, you would be a little bit hesitant to go through and start to set up these strategies on the liquidity as a liquidity provider. Do you think it'll be worth at some stage for you guys to actually create some strategies for people, or are
Well,
they?
that's also another future item in our roadmap.
Yeah.
That yeah, so we are definitely working on that to allow our users to have the best of the best, to don't so that they don't have to worry about where to invest, how to invest. The AI will be doing that on the
I
behalf of
see.
the user and managing their portfolio on our protocol.
Yeah, I see. I
Yeah.
see. I see. Because yeah, I know Ethereum has built like on top of DeFi, you have aggregators been built similar to CSwap, right?
Like
That
1 inch. Yeah. Yeah.
1 inch,
Yeah.
1 inch
1 inch
is
is probably one of the famous ones. Yeah.
so
Yeah.
that's
So that's I guess where our DeFi suite comes into play as well. So that will actually look at what's in your wallet. It'll look what's in your what liquidity pool, like LP tokens you have, and it'll actually give some advice on what to do. And potentially in future iterations, we might even have that for news scrapers and things like that to actually, track where the market's going, and it may give you a prompt and things like that as well. But we also have the AI Kaspa trading tools, so agentic models that will actually execute on trades for you. You might want to play it safe, play Bollinger Bands. There might be premium there's premium trading bots as well, but there'll be lots of different trading strategy bots that users will be able to just use from staking KFC.
Okay. All right. So that's coming soon, right? That'll be. Is it part of this portal, or is it going to be a different link or different place they'll have to go?
Well, it's all in one. I mean, obviously, not obviously, but it's a super protocol. So everything will be housed under the one roof. So it's a one-stop shop. Yeah, absolutely. So it will be. It'll just be another tab, but it will actually talk to the router, the factory, and all the components of everything on our ecosystem, albeit the swap, farming, or even the lending platform that we're standing up. That will be part of the one sort of all-in-one solution.
Cool. Guys, I must ask this. This is a sort of demo you're running here, right? And I can see stables there. You have USDT, you have USDC. Where are you bridging it from, or thinking of bridging it from?
Yeah, that's a good question. So obviously this is testnet; it's not mainnet.
No.
So let's not forget that. We will be utilizing stables from official sources. So I guess I believe in the background, Kasplex team is probably working on a bridge. Without, I guess I'm not too sure if that's in the public domain, but I mean, any new chain sort of coming out, it doesn't matter if it's Kasplex or not, would be working on a bridge. So we will be sourcing from there, obviously, but also I mean, we've been stung in the past with any swap hacks and things like that. I've lost money. We've lost liquidity from DEXs that we've built. You need to use a reputable bridge. The most reputable bridge you could use would be one stood up by the actual chain. So I guess I don't know if that answers your question. Yeah.
No, it does. I think I wanted to clarify that you're not the one going to be building your own non-canonical bridge. It's going to come from Kasplex or somewhere official, right? Canonical way.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep, 100%. Look, we could definitely stand up a bridge, and that was on offer. We did it. We did also offer that. But I mean, look, let's there's no need to. I think there's a lot of onus that comes onto a bridge as well. In future iterations, and it's something we spoke about on a AMA yesterday. We will be also going cross chain, and we have a third party that works with around 30 to 40 bridges. I think maybe it's 47 now. So we integrate that, and it's seamless. It works. So a user may be able to in the future state. Well, we'll be able to in the future state on KaspaFinance, swap KFC or Kas with Ethereum on Ethereum. And it will take different routes. They'll all be spelt out on the screen, much like a bit of an aggregator, but all in one. It just makes it truly cross-chain.
Cool. Lots coming in that direction. What about the launch date? So I know it's dependent on Kasplex, given you're building a Kasplex.
I mean, we can't quote any dates. Obviously, we're being fed timelines and approximate dates. I would imagine that mainnet will go live this month, without a doubt. And obviously, they may be waiting for certain elements to be stood up for that. So I think it's fairly close. And from what Chris is sort of pushing out on his socials as well, it's very close. So it may already be ready for all we know. We will be going live on mainnet. And I guess if that's a two-pronged question about whether our token will be going live at that point of time as well, I'm not sure if it is. But I'll answer it anyway. We will be issuing an IOU token to be a placeholder for KFC. We will be going live with our DEX and our farming and staking pools. And dependent on obviously when mainnet gets stood up, we may or may not have our lending and borrowing protocol stood up as well. But we are actually, building out an engagement and user portal, which is basically to support our airdrop campaign that we just launched yesterday. So we're in phase one of that at the moment. So users can go to app.kaspafinance.io/airdrop, and they can actually take part in that first phase, which is social awareness and social growth stage. And they'll be able to earn from a pool of 2 million KFC tokens. But yeah, so in regards to when we're sort of going to launch KFC, we haven't sort of set a date yet for TGE. I think the market's not neither here or there at the moment. Obviously, Zealous did really well with their public sale. I think their token's going great guns. Kudos to them. We're taking a slightly different route, but each to their own. And obviously, we've got a different strategy. But in saying that, I think we'll probably launch when the markets are very favourable, and we want to launch when obviously the opportunity for price discovery is best. We are sort of moving towards sort of more your Web3 and VC capital rather, because we believe that focus sort of gives a long-term aligned capital, not sort of pump and dump buyers. But that's why we've sort of opted for that.
I think you've sort of highlighted two things, right? The first one is the launch dates. I think to be confirmed.
TBA.
For everyone, I guess, all the dApp builders.
Everyone, we're all waiting for it.
Everyone is waiting for that. And the second part is on the airdrop campaign itself. What I know you guys shared actually the details there on X yesterday. Anything there that you wanted to share with the community? What do you expect them to do? I know people are very happy with Dallas campaign, so we can.
It's a good question. So we've only sort of released the details for phase one, but we're just about to launch them with a KOL. So that'll be launched in the next few days for the rest of the actual campaign. But generally it'll be usage, it'll be adding liquidity, it'll be staking, it'll be farming. A lot of engage or touch points with our platform. And there'll also be awards for, and I mean, I can talk about this obviously. There'll also be awards for leaderboard sort of, if you're in the top 50%, or, if you got more liquidity than others, yada, yada, you'll get other, subsequent, rewards as well. In total though, the total pool of KFC will be 10 million, tokens. So, hopefully, if we go to $1, you never know. There's 10 million bucks. But so who knows? It's obviously Uni did really well. I still hold my Uni tokens. I never sold them. Silly me. But I'm always building, not trading. I'm more concerned about helping move the needle with Kaz,
Ankit,
if we can have an impact on that.
Question to ask is the right question to ask, Ankit, is why you are not looking at your Bitcoin holdings since 2019.
Why would I? Why would I? But I am looking at my Ethereum holdings and going, come on, this needs to move. But anyway,
no, don't get started on the Ethereum topic, man. I don't know what the F is wrong with it.
I think it's just not the market. It's not altcoin season. Right, it isn't. I mean, Bitcoin dominance is high still. We know when altcoin season is going to start, and it's not happening yet. So,
point of view of the
no. Well, when it starts, we'll know. We'll definitely know. I mean, I'm more interested and focused on KFC growth, but obviously, Kaz. We want to bring as many. As in, if for any reason, in our networks, builders see that we're building on Kasplex, and even this goes for IGRA as well. Any blockchain enabled Kaspa, I think, or smart contract enabled Kaspa. I think that that's a good thing. I think we share the same vision as a community. We want this community to flourish. Now it has got a great community. But we need more. We need more community. We need to be the Polkadot of 2025, the parachains. And does Kaspa have that appeal? I think it does. I really do think it does. Working on the continuation, if you like, of of Satoshi Nakamoto's vision, and then introducing smart contracts to the mix. But and attracting builders, and I think it's something that we would love more and more competition, because what it means is that more people are building on Kaspa, and it means that more people are potentially going to come to Kaspa. There's going to be a lot more marketing for Kaspa, and Kaspa will hopefully be seen by the bigger community and be seen as maybe a little bit of a threat to other chains, which I think it has the capacity to do. And and just sort of, I guess some people say, why, you guys came out of nowhere. Why are you building on Kaspa? I actually see a future for Kaspa. There's a shit ton of grant programs out there on blockchains that you read the white paper, or you look at the team, you look at the website. The website's probably better than Kaspa's in a lot of cases, but I mean, it doesn't mean shit. You've got to be sharing the vision. It's got to resonate with you. Kaspa resonates with Web3 geeks, and we're excited to build on it, and we believe that we can help grow the ecosystem as well. And that's why we're here. We're in it for the long haul. We are trying to build TVL, get a lot of liquidity for our DEX, and obviously we want a solid offering to the community, and that's what we're standing at.
Yeah, so let me wrap this up with a last question. For ZealotSwap, when they were putting the initial liquidity, they needed to do fundraising through a community, right? They ended up with that route, but you guys are choosing to go with a different route, right? You're going through traditional VC route. So
that's correct.
Whom have you spoken to? VCs? Have you spoken to anyone who's looking to put some capital into the business?
Yeah, so we are. It's right. We did decide to not do a public sale upfront. Instead, we've decided to raise capital through VCs, and we're actively in conversations with Web3 VCs and strategic partners now. So the focus is on long-term aligned capital. I guess not pump and dump buyers. Not to say any other projects are that. So we do have an investment from Kaspa Foundation. So they're on our cap. Yep. So they're on our cap table, and we've also got backing from via BTC, and they're actually the third largest Bitcoin mining pool in the world, which accounts for, I think, 15% of all the Bitcoin mining that occurs worldwide.
What is it called?
Via BTC. Via VIA BTC. Yeah.
Cool.
So they're two entities that we can mention now off our cap table. There are others. But yeah, so that's pretty much I guess all we could talk to for that. But yeah, we can keep you up to date, and obviously on our socials we will be releasing strategic partners as well.
But you haven't closed the round, so it's no. Round is still open, but these are the two interested parties that you can share.
Absolutely, yeah, that's right.
Cool. All right, but you're still going to be launching your token, so I think that's sort of how you're thinking, right? So you have.
Yeah, of course.
Which is, I think, most in the past, at least, that's what Uniswap did, right? They still had the token, still raised the capital from external VCs, I believe.
Yeah, look, they didn't have a token for some time, right? So that's why they did the airdrop. In regards to ours, we will be launching our token. So I sort of mentioned, I guess, touched on that we will have a IOU placeholder token from mainnet launch. And we're not going to rush to go to TGE. So we will choose the right market conditions. And we will be launching in a top 10 exchange as well. So a centralized exchange, and also shortly after. I believe that centralized exchanges give you best opportunity for price discovery. So best for the public, best for the people that provided capital as well. And obviously they're all investing schedules as well. So it's not going to be unlocked 100% or anything like that. So yeah, I think that's the way we usually go. Top 10 centralized exchange. Shortly after, we'll be launching on our exchange, KaspaFinance. Obviously, we'd be crazy not to. And then we may bridge a token to something like BSC, and then potentially on PancakeSwap to get that broader audience as well in on the price action. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good roadmap, I guess, on the token side and capital side, which you guys need.
Absolutely. We need TVL. So we need liquidity. We need market pairs. And so we are talking to stakeholders about liquidity loans as well. So we will obviously, when we launch, we will have solid markets. So quite a bit of TBL to actually offer, because no DEX is obviously attractive without liquidity, right?
Yeah. You guys have built across different, blockchains. You've built other dApps, and you're building some games. Is there any opportunity for you guys to do cross-pollination?
Cross-pollination, absolutely. Anything that we build, we love to. I mean, look, shameless shilling on our faucet, right? We've got our projects tokens on there. So we'd love people to sort of look into those as well. But yeah, that wasn't a shameless shill, or maybe it was. Cross-pollination opportunities for sure. Fight Club Network. I was pitching this to the Kaspa Foundation. I don't know why they won't take it on. It's such a great game with such big names. But look, everything that we do. So Fight Club Network, even though it's going to be Web 2 in the first iteration, because it's a AAA game, we'll have billboards with Kaspa. KaspaFinance.io and Kaspa, and also our partners that have invested in us.
Sorry, did you say
billboards? Yeah, in the back of the game. Sorry. Sorry. I really got you excited then. Yeah, at Super Bowl. No, I'm kidding. So in the game, so it's like a Street Fighter-esque game, right? It's a fighting genre game. So we've got all these streetscapes and things like that. So even the investors, we put their logos up on those billboards.